Hello everyone, welcome to the Bahamas and the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure 2019. Our live coverage of the main event continues. Day 3 of this 10K MTT with 79 players remaining from the 865 who started. I am James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And we're thrilled to have Griffin Benja back in the booth.
Back here, ready to do it. Day 3. I know what those look like, and it's going to be a big day.
Guys, I'm a little bit discombobulated.
Weird flex.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay.
Day 3 is normally bubble day, but we've already played through the bubble and beyond. I'm all out of sorts where we are in this thing.
Well, today's kind of more like the second half of day 3 and then our usual day 4 combined. Because this is the day that we're going to play down, what, to around 27 would be our guess?
24 would be the normal target,
sure.
But I think it's a soft target. I think the overall objective is to play 6 full levels. And still a pretty interesting field, Griffin, when you consider the diverse field we had.
Yeah, and a great future table we have, too. We're going to be able to see Maria Ho, which you guys are all familiar here, on the desk. Randy Lew, of course. Pavel Vexler, who always seems to find himself on these feature tables in EPTs. I mean, he's always all over the place.
He's definitely going to think that maybe he's a big star and didn't know about it because he's randomly been at many of our feature tables.
Exactly, and some really big stacks at the top, who we'll hear from in a second, too.
Let's look at the faces we're going to be looking at the feature table. And again, we have some familiar names. You already name-checked Maria Ho and Randy Lew at the top of the show, Griffin. We've got Glenn Miller, our qualifier. Pavel Vexler returns to the main stage. We've also got Mihai Manole, the original Platinum Pass winner, the guy who burst the bubble by eliminating Luke Greenwood, and some other accomplished pros, including Ami Barer, a guy you played a lot against, Griffin.
Yeah, Ami Barer, real accomplished Canadian tournament player. I would say he's probably in the rankings of top 10 or top 20. He won the Aussie Millions once, so he's someone that could really make a run if you get some chips going.
So first hand of the day, we have Ami Barer and Pavel Vexler in the blinds. Maria Ho, first to act under the gun.
Boring. What am I even tuned in for? What a nit.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah. Folded around to Randy Lew. He passes. Mihai Manole, the first ever Platinum Pass winner after he bubbled the Prague main event in December 2017.
Year of Romania.
Oh.
He opens in the hijack with ace-3.
The 55-cent qualifier. Miller flatting the button with the ace-jack suited here, about 35 big blinds effective. And it's a me! Shoves it in for 20 bigs here.
Do you mean me?
I do.
So action back on the original razor. A reasonably easy fold for Mihai. Is this a call for Miller, Griffin?
What's your set, Andy? Give me 125.
It's certainly close. I think most pros would snap this off, but I don't think it's going to be that easy decision for Miller. I think he should probably go for it. You know, the opener had 100 big blinds, could be opening relatively wide. Miller doesn't look that strong here flatting. You know, it's not like Miller flatted an early position open from early mid position. This is a late position open and a button flat. This is actually pretty much the top of Miller's flat range here a lot of the time. So I think he should probably find a call there. But you know, it's tough. Doesn't want to start his day calling there and seeing ace queen and then losing, you know, 2/3 of his stack. So I'm not surprised to see a fold.
You should tell this story.
Story time. Bedtime. Okay.
Yes, let's put Randy to...
I played in a 55-cent satellite.
55 cents.
Yeah, it was a rebuy. There was 49 in it, and I spent a total of $3.30.
Nice.
There was one ticket, $155 ticket out.
A lot of money.
So I got through that.
Yeah.
Ami Barer has raised here.
And went to the 55.
Yeah.
For every 11, I think that was in that, there was a $530 ticket into the final table. So there was 3 of them. I won one of those.
Yeah.
And then the final was 29 buy-ins. And I got to the heads up with Blanco Negro. Connor joining.
Beat him.
And played heads up on him for about 40, 50 minutes, and somehow came out on top.
Crushed them, huh?
Yeah, crushed them.
Love
Overrated.
So I was telling Maria, it was about 12 o'clock at night, and I screamed the house out, woke everyone up.
Great story.
Just the one call up. Ross in from the small blind.
And
Well, you gotta tell me the rest of the story, right?
Yeah, so basically that's how I qualified.
Ah,
so
cool.
I came over with my wife and 2 daughters.
That's awesome.
I made a family holiday out of it,
Yeah.
which was the prize in itself.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the
Now
cash.
you got a bonus?
I'm in the cash now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
and
Sorry.
this is where him and his wife went on their honeymoon 14 years ago, and they hadn't been back until this time.
Yeah.
Straight for Ross.
Real next door.
Nice. That's sweet, dude.
So it was meant to be, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good story. Gareth's
Story's-
having a great time.
Story's still continuing, too. Oh, the
Yeah,
water slide's
absolutely,
great.
hopefully, yeah.
And he's got the luck of the Irish, so I think we're all playing for second place here, guys.
That's all right. You can have first if you want.
You've no worries in you, right? No. Oh, that's it.
Is Pat still in, by the way? The other Irish guy that was at our table
I'm
last
not
time?
sure now. He was still playing
Might be.
when we I think he might be actually.
He might be the last Irish standing.
Yeah. Oh, there's one other guy, Paul Leckie, I think, is still.
Oh, yeah?
as well, yeah.
So Ross has bet the turn.
So when you make the final table, are your wife and your kids going to come out over here and just
I
watch?
don't think they allow kids in here.
No, I don't think they do.
I don't know. They
You can
might,
try.
like, there's no game, like, actual
Yeah.
gaming other than poker. I've seen some people.
Well,
bring
the
their
official is no kids in, but I don't know what they do. The girls would love that now, you know. They were watching the stream yesterday.
kids. That's awesome.
Ooh.
They were laughing at the part when I asked you the question about James and Joe.
And then I asked you who your favorite daughter was.
That's right.
So Army Bearer's caught running cards to make a full house.
I actually don't mind this lead by Ross here. He's going to have to think his straight is good a lot, and he's going to expect Barer to have some jacks when he checks back the flop and calls a bet that would probably call for this price. You know, he's betting less than a third pot. And he's going to know that he has a lot of tens in his range as well, so when Ami does decide to raise this river, that he can pretty confidently determine that Ami does have tens full here. Very unlucky run out for Ross, and you know, he's going to know that right away when he faces the raise. Wow.
Done. Good.
Bit surprised with the snap call there. At least some consideration maybe.
You just decide in your head that I'm not going to let the pro bluff me. I'm not going to let him take me off this hand. I flopped a straight, and that straight is going to be good no matter what.
Meanwhile, at the outer tables, we have an all-in here. Daniel Strelitz bet 60K on the flop. Pierre Calamusa moved all in, shoving on Strelitz, who calls here with top pair. Oh,
it's a deuce.
Deuce on the turn. Domination rotation. And Strelitz gets lucky to double up through Pierre Calamusa.
Yeah, you can check that out if you're interested.
55-cent Miller with the ace-queen suited under the gun. Maria most probably going to find a fold here with the ace-7. Has to imagine the amateur is not going to be raising the king-9 off under the gun. And shakes her head in disapproval, feeling her shove spot taken away.
Jack-10 of clubs for Azaro.
No, just imagining someone having a shove spot. Sounds weird.
You've never heard that language before? Describe like what's the spot where you'd shove? Interesting spot for Ross here. Great price in the big blind with 5-3. Of course, we see he has a hand that's quite live against his two opponents, but you know,
Because you got your person.
it's tough.
Aw.
It's not a great hand.
Sadly, that's the main people concerned about.
And now I hope for the
Yeah.
5-5 flop just to see the pain.
But it's good.
Like, I don't need to live with, like, in the same city as my family and my friends, but I want to be able to visit them pretty much whenever I want to.
Yeah. we basically would need to play a lot of tournaments.
Really curious to see how Miller decides to play this. You know, as an amateur, professionals are going to attack when they see a bit of weakness. I'm not really necessarily sure of Azzaro's level in that regard, but you know, is he going to find a float here? Is he going to be able to take it away from Miller? Is Miller going to be able to hold on with just ace queen high? Really depends what that turn looks like. And that is a good one. You know, but on a brick 9, are we going to see Miller check folding? That's really an interesting kind of question. But we are going to get the card that does make it really interesting for both players.
Don't even have to think about it.
Oh, he checks.
And I actually really like that check. I think it's probably a reflection of Miller being aware, maybe a bit of his image, that, you know, players are going to float him when he makes such a small bet. I mean, it was an under quarter pot bet, but I really want him to take his time here, not panic and put in a raise or shove. Just recognize that your hand is so strong here that you want to, you know, make a reluctant seeming call and then give him some rope for the river. Don't jump out of this, don't spring yourself out of the trap. Don't pop out of the woods with the clever girl. Just call it. And he's doing just that, and I love it.
Check calls for 24K. And Azzaro rivers the straight.
And his 50-person WhatsApp group gasps along with us. Doesn't get much more brutal than this. He should be able to get away here with only losing about half his stack based on sizing. I would imagine Azzaro is not going to get too greedy here, but a bet somewhere in the range of 70 to 85, 90K. And I don't really, it's a tough fold. I don't think that Miller's going to be able to find it very often. He gets it even cheaper than I thought, which is nice for him.
67,000.
I don't expect him to find a fold here very often either.
No, I mean, the other thing too is Azzaro is going to bet some weaker queens here that floated the flop, like something like, you know, king, queen off, king, queen of hearts, whatever. Queen, jack. Sometimes, you know, I mean, if Jack 10 suited is floating 8-6 deuce rainbow, so is Queen Jack suited. And, you know, Azzaro's going to probably think that hand is good and worth a value bet.
That's the call.
And he's not going to be happy about that. Very, very unlucky here.
That's not really brutal river.
Any player that is playing this field in that situation is going to lose pretty much exactly that much, maybe even more. So just a cooler here for Miller, for his sake and his friends and family back home. You know, he is still in the tournament.
Yes, and he still has a 15 big blind stack.
On in the call, table 7.
So Queen's Kings here. This is Sam Greenwood all in and at risk against Yao Simao. Greenwood with the dominated pair.
Not much on the flop, but some back doors for Sam. Uh-oh.
Yeah, buddy.
King is no good, but a queen or an 8 will be delicious.
The full house there for Yao Simao. And Sam Greenwood is eliminated in 73rd place. Worth highlighting that yesterday he was down to 1 5K chip, and he's managed to ladder up a fair few spots.
Wexler opening, King Jack suited, and Maria is all in, pocket 8. Snowman's, num num.
And if I've ever seen a fair fight, it's black 8s against the King Jack of hearts.
Easy call for Wexler, and we will be off to the races.
That's black and green, by the way, if you guys are using the 4-color deck, and red and blue.
Best luck.
If you've got that option turned on.
Thank you.
Like that.
So Maria needs this pair to hold. And she flops a full house. I think she's going to be okay here.
Like running fours.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Don't say it, Randy.
4 for the sweat.
So Maria gets a much-needed double up.
3 around-the-rounders.
Say that again?
I had 3 around-the-rounders.
Yeah, you had lots of those.
4-4, Jack, and kitty.
We love that.
Hello, Maria.
Maria's still the table short stack with 13 bigs.
Big Daddy pair here for Ami, and it is going to be Cooler Town for his 40 big blinds.
Oh, yeah, the sickest of all races.
This is going to be a big swing for these two gentlemen with 68 players left. Over $1.5 million up top, and you know that this is one of those hands that is the turning point for these two individuals. Friends and family, investors back home all know that whichever direction these two go in, one person's going to have a lot and the other's going to have a little. I would say there is a small argument based off a lack of dynamics for Ami to just flat these queens. You know, it's not the toughest when it comes table as far as, you know, what you can expect from the rest of the field. Maybe doesn't want to push the variance here and shove in over 40 big blinds with queens. He is opening under gun 1. You know, if he doesn't expect Azaro to have a ton of bluffs here, then he might just want to flat. I mean, no stranger to these situations on big stages. A winner of the very prestigious Aussie Millions out in Australia many years ago. Millions of dollars in online cashes. What's your vote, Joe? Is he going to shove or is he going to call?
Call.
I like it a lot.
Sorry, I was going to say call. My mic wasn't on.
I think this is a really intelligent, just flat from Ami. You know, so many people will just get in 40 big blinds with queens very comfortably, and he would still get it in relatively comfortably, but he just, you know, he wants to rely on his edge more than just get coolered here and lose a big flip against ace-king or lose to aces or kings.
He's gone behind on the flop.
I'm waiting for the day where someone like Ami here manages to just flatten that spot, comes ace high, instead of checking, he just folds.
He did check.
I know, instead of checking, he just mucks his hand. You got it. You got it. It's an ace. I know I had queens. So here you go. Next hand. Next.
This is kind of tough for Ami here because, wow.
See, he almost
Excellent.
did that.
Really disciplined from Ami Barer there. As we can see, he even had the queen of spades. You know, a lot of, he knows that he's made a really, really big disciplined fold there. He's just deduced that this, you know, this guy's not messing with me.
Those glasses will only work as long as it takes the tear to roll down his cheek.
I really think that was an important moment for Ami Barer's tournament there to keep the variance low and to not even lose a bet on the flop. I think that's really real strong play.
Well, we're heading out into the field.
Marc-Andre.
Arseny Kamatsky has moved all in on the turn and been called by Marc-Andre Ladouceur.
All in and call, table 8.
Kamatsky with ace-3. He's got a wheel draw and a diamond draw. Ladouceur ahead with top pair.
Diamond, 5 or an ace. Does not get there.
So we lose Arseny Kamatsky, winner of EPT Sochi 2018. Kamatsky cashing out for nearly 25K. And yeah, Marc-Andre now has a stack of over $500,000. This is Andre Akari and Jorge Cantos on the river. An ace-king, 7-6 deuce board. And Andre is just bet 110,000. Cantos looking back at his cards. And that's a call. Andre tables 8-4, complete airball. King Deuce, the hand for Cantos with 2 pair. And he wins a sizable pot off Andre Akari. Oh, execute payout number 66. Thurbert is out. Very sad to see Chris go. He cashes out for just shy of 25K.
This is going to be a slam dunk spot for Vexler with the short stacks. We're looking at Maria Ho on 13 bigs. And we're looking at...
Oh. Maria calls all in. And Randy Lew has folded the big blind, and it's Flipsville once again. Maria racing with ace-queen against sixes.
And just like insert Joe Stapleton reference here, what is a mathematical edge? You can do your thing, go.
It's too late now, you ruined it.
Vexler is the slight favorite.
Like disappointing your parents as a professional poker player versus millions and millions of dollars. One of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
And sixes have the advantage after the flop.
Such a bad flop for Maria. You know, doesn't even get the over for the chops, but a lot of cards on the turn does do that. A 10, a jack would be the best ones. Oh, I got it. That's the queen. She gets the queen on the turn right before the break.
Maria now set for the double up, just has to fade a 6 on the river. It's a 9.
You are flipping well, girl.
I am. It's a good skill to have.
Absolutely.
We have got a new lineup on the main stage. So Matthias Eibinger, one of the chip leaders, has 113 bigs. Chase Bianchi also a big stack with 83 big blinds. Javier Gomez, 67 bigs, and the other player with an above average stack is Jorge Cantos with 61 bigs. Andre Akari ran that bluff against Cantos. He's now down to 26 big blinds. And then we've got Paul Fontaine from Spain and Elliot Smith from Canada, who are in the danger zone.
Danger zone!
With 11 and 10 big blinds, respectively. Smith moves all in with ace-jack.
And we know this little... Well, we don't know anything, actually. Another 40,000 for Eibinger to call.
Yeah,
yep.
He's calling.
Yeah, he has to call. He's getting better than 2-1. He's got a king. He's live.
Elliot needs ace high to hold. Well, 2 pair.
Good start. Yeah.
I'd say that's solid. And he has his opponent drawing dead on the turn. Doubles up with the full house.
Former Poker in the Ears podcast guest, Elliot Smith.
Back to the outer table. It's Glenn Miller versus Maria Ho on the flop. The board is King 6 deuce with 2 hearts. Glenn Miller has checked. Maria bets 14,000.
Not much deliberation from Miller.
Yeah, Glenn calls the bet. This hand going to the turn.
Glenn Miller's in the mood.
It's the 10 of spades. How have we not used that one yet?
You know, Clayton's dad is an actual musician, so I'm sure he's no stranger to the catalog.
Glenn checks a second time. And Maria checks behind. Jack of diamonds on the river. The board gets a little bit straighter.
A lot of times when my opponent calls very quickly, I assume he has a draw.
So Glenn now leads river for 16K. Maria calls. Glenn tables king 9.
Just top pair.
And top pair is good. And after that hand, Glenn Miller will be up to 175K. Maria Ho down to 130K. But the average stack right now is 425K with 61 players remaining.
That's my kind of table. Nobody deliberating too much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've had an all-in back on the main stage. Ibinger opened under the gun to 17K. Elliott Smith has shoved for his last 172,000. And Ibinger calls. It is domination nation in favor of Elliott Smith, who's the at-risk player.
Sunglasses on the head, sunglasses on the nose. Who's going to win?
Never looked at it from that angle. I like to see the best hand winning in these spots, but now we're at a coin flip.
Never easy, guys.
Oh, man.
So many outs for Ibinger.
This reminds me of a hand Clayton just played.
Ooh, no heart on the turn.
Little bit.
Is that more 10s he can hit now, though? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Hearts, 10s, queens.
Oh.
And it's a queen on the river, which sends Elliott Smith to the rail in 61st place.
That's gross. I don't like it.
Javier Zarco is coming up onto the main stage. Javier was the guy who busted Stanley Lee on the bubble last night.
When Stanley got it in with those deuces. One of the stranger bubble hands we were privy to. And here we are, Cantos versus Akari, and Andre turns a straight, cracking pocket jack with queen jack.
Is this my... Atlantis.
And bets 21,000, gets called. And that's a very, very, very not good card for Jorge Cantos. Now has a straight. Andre the better straight. Maybe the hearts will help a little.
And he's less worried about queen jack than you might think because he has two of the jacks. The blockers.
He does have the blockers. This is one situation where I think that it makes a lot of sense to consider blockers. And there's the call. Ooh, whoops.
Ugly.
Whoops. In a way, when you table your hand there, that's telling a bad beat story.
That's true.
It's the only time I ever show is when I want to succinctly tell
Yeah.
a bad beat story.
See how bad I run, everybody?
Randy Lew is all in against Tommy Wynn. Ace-9 for Randy. Queen for Tommy Wynn. But it came running 9s.
That's not the one I expect to see.
Hallelujah! It's a miracle.
What a miracle. Maria Ho all in with queens against Pierre Calamouse's kings. Jack 10 on the flop, queens in bad show. Queens are open-ended now. A king on the river is a set of kings, but it is a straight for Maria Ho.
Yes, queens.
Yes, queens indeed. Double up Maria Ho. Pierre Calamusa has lost 1 million chips since the start of play today. Very bad run out for kings. Bianchi in a bit of trouble here, raising pocket sevens, 3-bet by Bosca
We have not seen him play a pot since he sat down. An ace-king for Gomez.
He never doesn't
What
not
is happening?
have something. That was a rare quadruple negative.
Can you handle this for 1 second? Hardigan is having him. Just hold on. I'll be back.
Okay. So Bosca here with the 3-bet. Gomez with a decision. Bosca does have him covered.
Buenos dias, Clayton.
Oh, hi. Hola.
Yo soy el comandador.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to meet you.
Mi amigo Vicente Bosca es mi favorito mano. Hack, hack. I'm humping for hoy. Whenever I see hack, hack. Ay, Dios mío.
I've heard so much about
Alberto
you.
de Cuatro. Ay. Ay, caramba.
Wow, it's amazing that sombrero even fits in the booth.
¿Qué es? What is the current payout?
I think it's 28.
Oh, that's a lot of churros. Why? España via España. Ay. Oh, mi amigo. You know, Clayton, my money is here is on pocket hacks.
I've heard that's your favorite hand.
Sí, es mi mano favorito. Sometimes you have pocket hacks and you get 4-bet and then you put the single bet ham. Ham it in.
A little too deep here to ham. All right, so just calls.
Ay. Americanos, they play weak. We play fuerte.
Yeah, muy fuerte.
Where I am from.
So it's jacks against ace king, and the flop
El
is 10
flop.
high.
El flop.
El flopo is DS high.
Yes, alto.
Bosca in the lead with the jacks. First to act
yo
here.
quiero hacks.
Would you ever check your jacks here, El Comandador?
Sí, el trap. Sometimes you have to put out some bait, a burrito, some paella.
I think Bosca is actually genuinely concerned that his jacks may not be good here. And so he's not
Hacks.
trapping.
125. 125.
El mano es finito.
Gomez bets and takes it.
Clayton,
Yes?
I must go.
Blinds now going to 5,000, 10,000 with a 10K big blind ante. And at this point in the day, it's Zhao Samao who has the chip lead with 1.4 million. We see that Daniel Strelitz, Vicente Bosca and Brian Altman are also in the top 5, along with Matthias Eibinger, who was at our previous feature table. Well, we have a new feature table. We're mixing things up once again. We are bringing Chino Ream, Marc-Andre Ladouceur, Simon Dedman, and Matt Barkey up onto the main stage. I'm James Hartigan, he's Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And we've got Griffin Benja back behind the mic.
Hey guys, how's it going? Big table here. Really exciting to see, people at home very familiar with Matt Berkey, of course. He's been all over the scene lately, a lot of cash games and big tournaments. So he always spices things up, really moves and shakes. It's great to watch.
Simon Dedman is open to 23,000.
Bit of a decision here for Campana. Does he elect to 3-bet, get it in for the 34 bigs or just flat? I think most of the time you're just going to want to flat here. He does elect to do that. You're not always crazy about 3-bet calling off in this spot. So many chips. Plays kind of nice, as a lot of your flats from these positions are going to be sort of suited Broadway hands. Maybe something like king, queen off. So to have a hand as strong as nines worked in there where you're doing pretty great on low boards. Wow, that is an pretty action flop for all three guys.
Yeah, so we've got Ladouceur with trip kings, Deadman with the flush draw. Campagna maybe feeling his nines are strong. Action check to the pre-flop aggressor.
Either option I think is okay here for Deadman. You know, he can elect to c-bet and hope to get through both of his opponents. Campana does have some kings in his range, and he does get to disguise that flush draw. But at the same time, if he bets, he can just sometimes take it down, and that's oh so sweet. It's just jack high.
So 22,000 into 79,000.
Too many.
Campagna calls. Now, how does Marc-Andre play this, Griffin?
Well, this is a bit interesting for Mark, you know. He knows that he has the best hands so often. He also knows it's hard for him to be really bluffing when he check raises here, simply because the two ranges he's up against can very easily include a king, so it doesn't really look bluffy. So I think we're going to see a call a lot. You know, he doesn't want to just get all his chips in here just because he has three of a kind kings. Now, Deadman, you can see with the little... Oh, my goodness!
Oh, wow.
The literal biggest action card you can possibly imagine.
You don't want to see.
Completely flips the script everywhere. Campana was nearly dead.
Well, he had 8% equity. Now he's got 81% equity, turning a full house. Ladouceur still with trip kings. Deadman got there with his flush, but...
And he's just about dead.
He's drawing to a straight flush, right?
He is, and, you know, with 2.5x pot behind, I really would love to see a check here from Simon, and I'm not just saying that because we know, of course, that Campana has nines full. He knows that, you know, with Ladouceur very suspiciously overcalling here, that he's going to have some flush draws, some kings that may already be a boat. And so he just wants to get to showdown here. If he sees two checks here, he'll certainly put out a little bet. But right now, he is not feeling that great about his jack-high flush. And Ladouceur, after seeing two checks...
I can't believe everyone checked the turn. So Campagna with the full house, nines full of kings, first to act on the river. There's 145,000 in the middle.
And I genuinely think that this is going to get a pretty quick fold from Marc-Andre Ladouceur. I know all the viewers back home must be thinking, but he has trip kings. Like, that's not, how does he take a fold so easily? Marc-Andre is going to break down the ranges here and know that Campana shouldn't really have any bluffs into two people. A lot of the time, at worst, he's going to have a flush. And his king has just completely shrunken up. Now, what Deadman is going to do is incredibly difficult.
Marc-Andre's folded.
Have a flush.
Well, he's announcing his hand.
I don't necessarily think he will call. Campana's not going to bet over half pot here with just a king after three-way to the turn, I think. So what are his flush combinations? Think about the hands that he flatted from the small blind. He's going to have something like, oh, wow, he blocks. Yeah, it's so hard to fold. I mean, he blocks queen jack of spades and queen ten of spades. He's
I mean, he kind of has to call there, Griffin, but the fact is he only lost 85,000 on the river.
By checking the turn, yeah.
Had a situation where three players all had monsters. We had a flush against trip kings, against a full house. One guy gets away from it, the other guy loses the minimum. That's how good these players are. Queen 10 suited for Tommy. Simon Dedman folds the button. Matt Berkey defends his big blind with 9s.
Yeah, super strong hand to have here. But of course, super deep stack. Just a quick call. Ooh, daddy. And Wynn has the spades.
Unbelievable. It's the second time this has happened in about 4 hands.
Now this is going to be pretty interesting because, you know, oftentimes on boards where the aggressor flops a you know, sort of a flush draw, the other opponent would have a set. You could really see the opponent kind of barrel off, but on a paired ace-ace board, you know, Wynn isn't necessarily always going to blast away. He's never going to expect, you know, Berkey to fold an ace, especially with how sticky, you know, Matt is. He's not really going to fold a 9 on a lot of turns. So I wonder if Wynn is going to elect to, and of course, Big Berkey with the raise. Love this.
Yeah, C-bet of 17K from Tommy Nguyen. Matt Berkey check raises to 60K with a full house.
Yeah, I think this is a great texture and great situation to do this. You know, because Wynn is just not going to barrel off on this board. He's either going to have an ace and continue, or he's going to have a hand like, you know, 10s through kings and decide to continue, or he's going to flush draws and continue, or he's going to have his air that probably wouldn't have barreled. So you just try to start getting money in now, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
So Nguyen with 2% equity needs running cards to make a straight or royal flush.
Great little bit brick for Berkey because it actually gives Wynn more equity. But the question is, because Berkey is going to think more often than not, Wynn is going to have an ace than a flush draw, Berkey might go on the bigger side. Ooh, interesting. Okay. You know, I'm not going to try predicting what Berkey's going to do because he's, you know, he's on his own island. I'm telling you. But if I were to try to analyze it, I mean, you know, that would be a scary card from the, you know, if Berkey was check raising and, you know, a raggy ace doesn't want to necessarily go broke. But of course, we know he's loaded and he is inducing the bluff, drawing dead.
Wynn makes it 85,000.
Now, I would not expect a check raise from Berkey. But I'm only saying that just so that he can prove me wrong, because I would love for that to happen. Looks like he's counting out calling chips.
Oh
my goodness.
So Nguyen thinks he just got there.
And Berkey has just about pot behind. So what do you do if you're Wen's shoes here? We should expect to see a Berkey check.
He does check. Do you think Nguyen's going to shove on him?
I think there is a realm where he actually just bets something like between 160 and maybe 240. And then maybe makes a ridiculous hero fold if he gets shoved on. But Berkey's not always shoving on this run out. Of course, we see that Wynn has a flush. But Wynn also has ace-king here a lot, ace-jack. So I think that Berkey might just call this bet. Because he also knows that Wynn should fold some flushes when he checks shove. So I think Matt's probably just going to call.
Good news for you, I beat nothing.
Nice. Wrong.
Bad news for me is I have a really good hand.
It's a bad river for you then, huh?
What's that?
It's a bad river for you to hero call then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You know, I'm definitely gonna need time banks.
So Berkey's actually considering folding
Use
here.
away,
This
my
is what we
friend.
were talking about here, is that, you know, because of the line Win is taking here, when Win gets check raised on the ace-ace-9 and then continues and bets the king, Win is trying to say, you know, I have ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king. So Berkey's losing to ace-king. And then the jack comes in.
Bet a size where I might be able to
of
just
spades. So if
be
Win
a
did have
hero.
ace-queen, he wouldn't be betting the jack. So he should have a full house here, a lot. And Berkey has the worst full house. So Berkey, I mean, we talked about how he wasn't going to check shove the river, and you know, that's clearly happening. But he's actually thinking about maybe folding, because he's only beating bluffs and queen 10 of spades, really. But also some king 10 of spades. But the thing is the sizing on the turn, you know, Win sized up pretty big on the turn, and he wouldn't really do that with king 10 of spades. You know, king queen of spades. Probably bet a little smaller as sort of a block
You don't wanna beat
protection.
king queen of spades and queen 10 of spades.
Yeah. And he's folding.
Wow.
He folds the best hand.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, Tommy. I gotta pay you off, bro. I like to sleep good at night.
And
I'm gonna just have
Tom
to give you that
realizes that he
165 and
is
just show me the ace jack.
really very lucky here that he had happened to have one of the only two value bets.
What?
What a hand. We're going to the outer tables. Scott Wellenbeck against Rex Klinkskalis. And it's kings against queens, and looks like kings hold up. And that is a huge pot.
Very nice gentleman from Halifax, actually. I played on day 2 with him. Started chatting him up when I raised his blind, asked him where he was from, and he shoved on me.
Well, Rex is out, so we're down to 44 players, and we have a new chip leader in the PCA main event. After that pot, Scott Wellenbeck has taken the chip lead. He's the PCA boss right now with 1.56 million.
Scotty.
And right now, we have an all-in from Nanonoko. There's action on the side here between Army Barer and Maria Ho. And it's a bet of 25,000 from Army, called by Maria on the flop.
It's a me, Mario Ho.
So a jack 9-7 deuce board with 2 spades.
So infrequently do they play, I have to say it, you know.
Army Barer bets again on the turn, 41,000. Decision on Maria. Remember, Randy is all in. He has to sit back and wait for his fate to be decided. So Maria folds. Army Barer wins the side pot. Now for the main pot. Randy tables 7-6. Army Barer with Queen Jack. And Queen Jack is good. Army wins the main pot as well. And Randy Lew is eliminated from the PCA main event.
Do it for Ireland. Do it for Dublin. Do it for Conor McGregor. God damn it. Put it in. Yes. Let's go, Glenn Miller.
Channels is in a griffin. Marc-Andre Ladouceur calls with ace queen.
Live. He's live, baby.
Our qualifier is at risk. Yes, he has live cards, but he needs to catch.
Most times I'd be rooting for my countrymen, but I got a lot of people in Ireland too, man. Ooh, interesting flop.
Gives him 8 outs. Kings, queens, and 10s working for Glenn Miller.
Any kings about?
Same 8 outs that he can hit on the river. It's a 9, ace-queen holds, and we say goodbye to the Irish qualifier. Glenn Miller's told this story so many times, qualified via a 55-cent satellite. Fired off a few bullets, so actually he's in for about $3, but who's counting? Because he's cashing out for $33,000.
Yeah, gotta love those stories.
Good run. Thanks.
And as he's told us time and time again, he and his family have had the time of their lives here in the Bahamas. It's been great having him here at the PCA, and I hope we see him on the tour again. Thank you for watching today. So we'll be back with more action from the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure 2019 main event.
Good game.
Thanks very much. Good run.